So welcome back to C Program Course. Myself, I'm Anand Simonhak and I'm a campus student code focus. So without any further delay, let's jump into our today's agenda. Our today's agenda is going to be C tokens. So it's one of my favorite topic and important topic too. So I said tokens. So what exactly mean by tokens? Okay, let me give an example for you. So we cannot create a sentence without using word, isn't it? Without using a words, we can't even create a sentence, isn't it? The same way, we can't even create a program in C language without using tokens. Therefore, we can say that tokens in C language is a building block of for creating a program in C language. So that important it is. Without tokens, we can't even create a single program too. So and now we look into like there are different type of tokens in C languages. So now what are those? One is keywords and identifiers, strings, operators, constants, special characters in C. We already explored about the operators, which we already talked about in last class. And regarding the strings, we're going to look into our upcoming videos, so no need to worry about right now. And the other things we're going to explore right now. Uh, so, so first, what do we have here is keywords. So, what is keyword here? Keyword is a reserved word. We can't use it as a variable name or constant name, etc. There are only 32 keywords in C language. Let me show you what are the keywords that we have. So, these are the 32 keywords that we have, and C supports. And we already explored few of the keywords in our classes. So we already explored the double int and the long character. We already explored return, void, and we already explored size of uh, the float, short, unsigned. We already explored few things, few keywords. So the rest of the things we're going to explore in our coming videos or coming topics when we actually talk about the coming topics. We're going to explore all each and every keyword. Don't need to worry about it. And these are the 32 keywords that we see supports in our C language. So now coming to the other topic, that is after keywords, that what do we have here? Identifiers. So what do I mean by identifier? So let me open my code blocks creator. Let me create a new project, a console application, and the C. I'm going to choose C here, and I'm going to give a title as tokens in C. Yeah. So now let me open the source and main.c. So now let's discuss the identifier. So what do I mean by identifier? Uh, what do I mean by identifiers? So identifiers in C are used for naming variables, functions, arrays, structures, etc. Actually, we didn't talk about the functions, arrays, structures yet, but it's similar to variables only, like when actually going to give a function name or array name and structure name, whatever it may be, it's kind of the naming thing. So it's a kind of variable only. So let's talk about the variables right now. When we actually talk about the functions array, then you get to understand all those things. We haven't talked yet, right? So let's move on to identifiers. So yeah, we don't need to discuss much more about those topics right now. So let's move on to identifiers. So identifiers in C are the user-defined words. Can composed of upper letters, lower letters, underscore, or digits, but the starting letter should be either an underscore or an alphabet. Identifiers cannot be used as keywords. Again, we cannot be used as keywords. So let me tell you the rules for identifiers. So the first letter, let me comment it out and write it here. That will be better like this. So the The first character, I'm going to write in the short form. The first character of identifier, identifiers upper, be an alphabet, or it will be upper or lower, it may be. So I'll just write alphabet. Alphabet, then underscore, underscore. So, and it should not begin with a numerical digits. That too, it should not start with numericals like. We can give a date, like for example, I used to give for first one, I just give Sai here. Either Sai can be valid or underscore Sai is also valid. Else, the second rule for of the identifier is it should not begin with the number. So if I write a 9 Sai, it's a completely invalid statement. Identifier should not start with numerical values like 9, what I have, I have written here. It's completely it's completely an error. In identifier, both upper and lower letters are distinct. Therefore, we can say identifiers are case sensitive. Case sensitive, and commas or blank spaces cannot be used specified with an identifier. The blank space, like if I write on my phone, like so within Sai and Mano, in between Sai and Mano, have given a space, it's not valid. Even if I have given the comma, it's also not invalid. Invalid. It's already invalid thing. Should not use in that way. And the keywords cannot be an identifier. Like for example, I have given here hint, and again if I given the float here, it's an invalid identifier. For example, uh, after given this way, currently it's going to recognize. See that both like is a keyword that I have used, and the same where the identifier name also should not be like the keyword name. It's completely invalid state. So we have to give the different identifier. Identifier is nothing but the name itself is saying like you're identifying something. I have to give like the identifying the specific value or something, whatever it may be. Like for example, I guess I is equal to if you simply given 10, it's not an identifier, right? It can't be possible to identify. Like if you use a specific name to it, you can easily identify it, kind of thing. Yeah. So the length of the identifier should not be more than 31 characters. That I have to remember. More than 31 characters, the length of the identifier. Like if I write this kind of thing, a very long name, very long, and it's completely invalid. Should not be, should be within 31 characters. And the identifier should be written in such a way that it is meaningful, short, and easy to read. That you have to remember. And it should be like meaningful, short, and easy to read. Those points you have to remember for identifier. And what is the next thing that we have after identifier? We have a string, so that we're going to discuss in our upcoming class. So no need to worry about right now. And regarding the operators that we already discussed in our previous class, so I don't want to talk about it again. So let's move on to constant. So we have a constant. So let's move on to constant right now. So okay, I'll just comment it out. Mm, we have- I just commenting out. Uh, let's see. So now let's move on to constants. So what are the constants? Constants. So let's talk about the constants. Constant is a value assigned to a variable which will remain the same throughout the program. The constant value cannot be changed. Once you assign it, it cannot be changed. Like for example, if you can take the mathematical example like pi. So we have the pi, right? And the pi value is always a constant value. The same way, even the constants also in our C language also like it should like it's never be changed. Once you assign it, it's never be changed. So till you delete that the declaration part of it. Then until that it cannot be changed. So using so you can use two different types of constant by using constant keyword. Again, it's in a keyboard, constant keyword, and other is uh, other is define preprocessor. Let's talk about the using constant keyboard, and then we'll jump on to the pre-processing. Okay, so let's start with the constant keyboard. So what? So let me write the code first, and then we will discuss. So I have given the main. So I'm going to give a constant keyboard here, and then I'm going to give the data type that is int, and I'm going to declare a variable and assign. Then I'm going to give a normal variable here, so the constant. So that also I'm going to assign it as a. Also, I'm going to use a different value because usually I use 5. Okay, so now after some time, after a few lines of code, you just assume that there is some other code here. Just assume that. So after some time, I would like to change that value like by just incrementing it. A plus plus and then B plus plus C. And then I'm going to print this two lines here. So what will happen here? Let's see what will happen exactly here. So I'm going to print out the B and B. So let's see what will happen here exactly. Yeah. So what is happening here? So actually we are getting some error here. So what is that error is called? Increment of read only variable, isn't it? Actually, we have declared as a constant here, key with using constant keyword. So it should not change it again. Like that's what I have discussed earlier, right? Constant in the sense it should be the same throughout the program. So it won't work if I given the A plus plus. If I given the for B, the same thing, it will works. And I'll get an going to increment. See, the B value initially I have given 5. Now it's 6, and the A should be like given same, that is 10 throughout the program. It's never going to be changed. So that's all about using the constant keyword, using a constant keyword here. So let's move on to the hash defined preprocessors. Move on to the Okay, so now we'll move on to this hash defined preprocessor. So let me write some code here. I also commenting out this thing as well, but I just want to write it from the beginning, then I can explain more better way. Okay. So now what exactly? Before writing a code, now I want to explain about the preprocessor. For what exactly preprocessor is? Okay, so let's go to Google and all our favorite website that is Okay, so now let's type. Yeah, so I'm going to open this thing, and if you want this context, you can also go to this contact. So let me open this figure here. Yeah. So what is exactly is happening here in this figure? Just observe the figure. So we have the source code that we going to run our code. Once we run our code and compile it, like once we just compile the code, the C program uh, just look for the whether there is a preprocessed directory available in the code or not. If so, then it's going to perform that preprocessor action, and then it's going to compile it, and then it's going to link it and execute the code. That's what is going to happen. Like the preprocessor, in the sense, like see, like we can also have a definition. Preprocessor definition is like the name itself is saying that preprocessor, in the sense it's going to process before the compilation. Before compile, everything going to process it. That's the name itself says that. And so this is the flow chart that you can have a look into. And even if you want, you can also go to this document here. And here, so what are the examples for the some of the preprocessor is hash define, hash include, and hash define, and hash and define, etc. So we have this hash symbol here. So this is about pre-process. So let's have in with examples. I'm going to let me show examples here, and then you can get a better understanding of pre-process. So, all those things. So as we discussed, hash define, hash include, and we have the hash include yesterday. I will not. It's also in a pre-process. And going to look when we actually compile it, like the code going to look into this. Of the preprocessor directories, and then you're going to compile the original code. So now, so we have written this hash include stdio.h. Now let me type one more thing, that is if and def text here. What have exactly have we did? So, so what is if and def? If not define text. So text is a variable name. Just going to look into this. Let me write a code, full code. Then I'm going to explain that going to be better for you. Now I'm going to type define. You do not forget this hash. Define text here, and then going to okay. Here I'm going to type hash b, and thank you, sir. I'm going to type thank you for attending. I've given some text here. So, and also I'm going to teach you text here as well. Backward slash n, and I'm going to give as welcome, welcome to the example. Mm, yeah, so I have given this syntax, and don't like I'm going to explain the entire code. Don't worry about right now. Anyway, uh, so yeah, here I have given this thing. Okay, so now I'm going to type again the hash define. I'm going to type this and the brackets are going to n. I'm going to print something here. Print f score, and it let me put in the- so within the main function, I'm going to type something. That is good. one equal to 30. I got failed here. I have given this thing. Text here, print of text. Now again, I'm going to give this 4 7 comma and 1 who have given this thing and the one brackets now going to written. Okay. So let's build out first and then I'm going to explain it to you all. So there's some error with the code define and so now it's fine, I guess. Yeah, now it's working perfectly. So some typo, I'm going to change it. Yeah, now everything is working perfectly. Okay, so okay, great. Okay. Okay, fine. So let me explain with what exactly this code does is. Okay. So as I said earlier in this, as per the Geek for Geek, so everything is started with hash symbol. Hash symbol indicates that it's a preprocessor, and all the preprocessor you like start with the hash symbol here. Okay, so even this hash include is also preprocessor, and now we have here. See, let me yeah. So now we have here, and the next line we have if and def text define text, and we have some random some text like hello, welcome to the exam hall, and we have end if. So what is if and def? If not define text, then define text with this this sentence. That's what exactly it mean by. Let me show you something. So here we have defined with the text, right? So where is text in our main function? So here we have a text, right? So actually, when we actually compile the code, the what exactly the preprocess does, like before the compilation time, as per the I have shown in this diagram, right? This picture before the compilation compiler here before like actually the source code going to look into it first the preprocessor directive. So here the first going to perform the preprocessor actions and then it's going to compile it the same way here. So we have defined the preprocessor. So actually uh, it's going to replace by this text. It's going to replace by this text when I compile this code particular code. It's going to look for this text here. So where we have text in our main function. So here we have the text, right? Isn't it? Text macro. Actually, we call it as a macro. After define when we like in a preprocessor, like when we given this kind of it's a kind of variable. Yeah. So it's we generally we in a preprocessor we call it as a macro. So actually, it look for the macro where it is available in our main function. So it's going to replace the macro in main function. So we have defined the macro as hello, welcome to the exam hall. We're going to replace in this particular printf state function within a function. That's what is going to happen here exactly. That's we have given a condition here. If not define text macro, then going to then define the text and like for text we have given this sentence or context that we have given here. Like when it comes to variable, we used to give it generally anything equals to be going to give it right the same way. Here we have to for macros like without equal sign have to like give it in the double quotation. Uh, when it comes to numbers, we have to give it an directly. We can give it directly define pi or max 20 is a kind of thing we have to give in that way. Strings, we're going to give within a double quotes. Actually, we didn't discuss strings at that we're going to look into in our upcoming classes. When we actually talk about the strings, then you're going to get understand about all these positions why we are writing, etc. All those things. Then we're going to discuss all those things over there. Uh, so now we have coming to the next line. So here we have define test for test underscore for, and we have within a brackets we have A and B. So where we have this test for in our main function, here we have on this line number 35 we have test for. So we have same and we have exam. So what exactly this code does is, so when we actually run it, it's same going to replace by A and exam going to replace by B, and then it's going to print out this statement within like what will be going within the function that going to print. Let me run it and let's see. So here, when I run the code, it's going to replay the same for A and exam for B. And here we have within a print statement, we have what do we have? Hash A. So why we are giving hash A is means actually the same is a actually want to print it as a string, right? String always within double quotations. So here we're not giving any double quotation within a test for here, right? Isn't it? So that's the reason we are giving a hash here. When we give hash, then it's going to convert into string. It's going to add a double quotations. Within a double quotation, it's going to mention the this same. So now we are getting the now it printing the same here. Same and exam. uh, Thank you for attending. And we have given the text here. Thank you for attending. Let me do attend here. Printing here. And now we have, and again we are defining something here that is hash define. And we are giving the Sai Manohar and within brackets I'm giving Sai Manohar and I'm going to give a printf statement, a printf function, and within a function I'm going to use some sentence here. Size score in subject. I've given this hash n and equals to percentage d score in subject and hash n. Actually, when it comes to line number 22, we have written the printf function in next line. Even we can write in the same line itself. We can write in the same line. But if you want to write in next line, then you have to give this backward slash. If you give a backward slash, then you can able to write it in new line. If not, it's not come under the preprocessor. So then we have to give this backward slash. Then you can write the printf statement in next line. Even you can again if you want to print something else here, something else here, say, then again you have to give here again this backward slash here. Without backward slash you can't. It's not actually uh, assume as a preprocessor. So here we have to give backward slash. And now come to the line of 31. So here we have a hash defined and I have defined the Sai Manohar. And within the brackets, I have given an n here, and I'm just giving the printf statement here. Sorry, printf function. And now within a double quotations, I have given the size score in subject, and I have given this. I have mentioned this hash n and percentage. I have given this thing. So where do we have this written here? The macro Sai Manohar n. Here we have written. So n going to replace by 1. So whenever I write a printf statement, is I score in subject 1. In subject 1, I have scored. Here I have declared and assigned it. Sai subject score. So score in subject 1 30. So I got only 30 marks out of 100. So I just failed the exam. Uh, so now when we actually run this code, n going to replace by 1 and it's going to exactly going to print as a like as an output like C. So we have this size score n, size score n, and after subject we have defined a hash n here. So within hash n, that going to replace by 1 that we are passing from this Simon over here. So I'm going to replace by 1 and equals to, and here we have given the percentage d, and with and we are just percentage d, and here we have given the size code in subject, and hash double hash and n. This double hash going to replace by this size code in subject 1, and this 30 going to store in this hashing. So and we getting this result as 30 here. So it's going to actually this assignment, like whatever we have, this variable value going to replace here, and we are getting the result as 30. Size scores and subject 1 is 30. So that's what is happening here, this score. And also it's all about and also let me show you something else. Let me show you one more example. Like I'm going to type it again, hash include lcdio.h. So, and I'm going to define it. Define, as I said earlier, we can also define simply. Like I'm going to use psi 7, and I'm going to give if psi greater than 100, then I'm going to define undefined psi, and again I'm going to define psi 200. Sorry, is 200. Should be in the next line. Yeah. So and we have a list by undefined, and then has defined by 50. And finally we have else undefined, and if non main function within a main print this printing the salary variable in the return. So let's run this code and then I'm going to explain it. So we got some bug without if. Okay, so without if showing, right? So like what we have to do is like, actually I'm going to explain it. Don't need to worry about it right now. Mm, so let me fix this box. And we have this, and again this else. This, yeah, now it's working perfectly. So we got the output as 50. So how it got it is like, let me explain it. So actually this if and else if, and we have else here. What exactly this program does is, so when we actually talk about the control statement, when we're going to understand about the if else and else statements. So let me give a brief introduction about the if and else statement, like whether if you understood or not. We're also going to discuss this control flow statements once again in our upcoming class, so you don't need to worry about it. So as a preprocessor right now, I'm just giving a brief introduction. Right, we are talking about the preprocessor. I just want to use a brief. So CSE, the name itself you can understand actually. So here first we are defining the psi as 7, and if psi is greater than 100, then we're going to undefine psi. That whatever we have defined it here, psi as 7, that going to undefine, and again we're going to define it as 100. So actually it's not a true, so that's the reason we're not going to, like, it's not going to get the output as. And then we're going to, if it is not true, then we have one more statement that is else if. Else if psi is less than 50, then undefine psi and define psi as 50. and highest 50. So that is the output that we have got right now. Because 7 is less than 50, so we got it as output and we have defined it as 50. And else, if both are not true, then we're going to, then the compiler going to move into this line else statement, and it's going to look for the undefined it and define it as and again like let's say 200, 200, going to define it as 200. And finally we're going to end this if block. And actually we're going to discuss about more about this if statement, even if you didn't get that. We'll also going to explore it about if else statements in our upcoming video, so no need to worry about it right now. So now coming to the main function, so we are just printing the psi here. So whatever we got here, so 7 is less than 50, so we got it defined as 50. So that's the reason we get the output as, we got the output as 50 here. Yes, that's what we got. So that's all from pre-process. Now move on to the our last topic, that is special characters in C. So what are the special characters in C we have? So let me again open the compiler again. So this so special characters will be here. Mhm. So here we have the special characters in C. So what are the special characters in C that are available in C? Are like so we have this acroslash and all these are comma. Comma is also special character in Z, and the open and close curly brackets and curly brackets all, and we have the dot and like etc. Those are like special characters in C language, and that's all. We have this like we have this kind of special characters in C language. So that's all from today's class, guys. So I hope you understood the class. And if you like my work, please like, share, and subscribe to Code for Cause. And thank you all. And